Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be making Swahili Mahamris. These are soft, delicious fried buns that are popular in East African countries such as Kenya, Tanzania, the island of Zanzibar. Mahamris are usually served with a hot cup of tea or coffee for breakfast, or enjoyed as they are as a snack. If you're new to my channel, kindly don't forget to subscribe as well as click on the notification buttons below so you get notified each time I upload a new video. And as always, you want to start by preparing all your ingredients, measuring everything out. That way it's just easy to work once you get started. To start, combine all your dry ingredients. I have 3 cups of self-raising flour here, 3/4 cup of regular sugar, about 1/4 teaspoon of salt just to balance out the sugar, and some cardamom. You then want to give this a good mix. And in case you're wondering what the difference between Mahamri and mbaazi is, well, the main differences are that Mahamris are usually spiced using cardamom, while mbaazi's can be spiced using, for example, lemon. Also, Mahamris are traditionally made using coconut milk. That's the thick coconut milk and the light coconut milk, while mbaazi's can be made using water or regular milk or even fruit juice. So I've just combined everything and this looks good. Next, you want to get your light coconut milk, and we just want to activate the yeast. So we're just going to combine it with the light milk. I'm using instant yeast here, and because yeast is still living, they are living organisms, we want to feed them a bit to sort of jumpstart or kickstart the process. And we also don't want to wait for ages, and this sort of helps it rise quicker. So I'm using just a small amount of sugar. Actually, that's too much. 1/4 teaspoon of sugar. You don't want to put too much, otherwise you'll kill them, and that's not what you want. You do not want to kill the yeast, rather you want to feed it and activate it that way. So give this a good stir. Cover and keep this in a warm place in your kitchen for about 15 to 20 minutes at least, so it just activates. I am not using my electric mixer today, but if you have one or if you prefer, you can do that. I'm going to mix everything with my hands, and you want to proceed on by combining the dry ingredients with the butter. I'm just going to crumble it in, and you can use butter or margarine. This is a tablespoon. So just give it a good mix in there. I am using self-raising flour, but you can also use regular all-purpose flour with baking powder. In that case, just combine your all-purpose flour with 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and then continue with the rest of the steps as described in this recipe. Once you've combined the butter into the flour, you just want to make a well and add the yogurt. And because we do not like wasting, we're just going to scrape off every bit or as much as we can from the glass like this. Yeah, that looks good. And then combine. Again, feel free to use your electric mixer if you like, but I just like doing it this way. The yeast is activated, so I'm just going to add it in and then combine. And I'm just going to use my hands at this point. Next, you want to add in your thick coconut milk, a little at a time. You don't have to use everything up, just enough for you to make a smooth dough. Just add a little bit more flour if the dough feels too sticky, and as always, a little at a time. Don't add everything at the same time. So combine everything until you get a nice and smooth dough. I I always like to smoothen the dough with about 1 tablespoon of cooking oil, but this is optional. And you want to combine the dough, but do not over process it. Next, you just want to cover the dough using a wet cloth and keep it in a warm place in your kitchen to rise for at least 20 minutes. So this has been sitting for about 20 minutes, and I don't know if you can see, but it has doubled in size. So we're going to proceed with the next steps. Next, we're just going to form this into balls carefully. Lightly roll it, not too much, so you don't get rid of too much air. So lightly flour your rolling board like this. And then you want to divide the dough into 4 equally sized portions. Doesn't need to be exact, but just almost equal like this. And then we're just going to form each portion into a ball. So you basically just take a piece and knead it into the center like this, and continue the process until you have something that resembles a ball. So again, you take an edge, knead it into the middle like this. Proceed and roll out each ball of dough. So dust each piece a bit with flour like this and roll. So don't roll it out too thin. Something like this is okay. And then you want to cut them into your desired shape or sizes. To create space, I always like to put them on a plate that's been floured like this, so they don't stick to each other. And when cooking, you want to use medium heat, so not too hot, otherwise the mahamris will burn. And not too cold, otherwise they just end up soaking too much oil. Heat oil in a medium-sized pot or pan. As a tip, you can test whether your oil is ready for frying by dipping a wooden spoon inside, and if it bubbles like this, then it means that it's ready. When frying, you can have them as dark or as light as you like. I personally prefer them golden brown, so something between this and this, but some people like this kind of dark brown color. That's totally up to you. You'll know they're done when they're puffed up and a sort of light and airy and fluffy when you cut into them.